Hello to everybody. I am Teresita Pobre. I arrived here from Philippines to America 1998. I was born 1942, raised up and educated in the Philippines. We moved here November 1, 1994. Not too long, by July 30, my husband Artemio passed away in 1995. The house is so important to my daughter and to me because this is the only one we can afford at the time. And this is the last gift my husband told me that he can afford to give it to me. When we're able to buy a house, there is a backyard, so artists used to play house there at the backyard, and I could also plan, and we're happy that way. My neighbor even called it forest. I like it because the trees and leaves give me oxygen and get off the carbon dioxide. Also invitation of nature, the birds. This summer, I think my daughter saw already the bluebirds coming back, the butterfly roaming from the front and the back, and that's our happiness now. When my husband passed away, I don't know what to do first. I don't have work, and then the school give me a job. With the money that I get, my husband left, we pay for that, for the mortgage, and later on one check for the house and one check for saving for the taxes and a little bit for our miscellaneous food, gas for the car. It's so hard to budget as if to be a rubber band that's so stretched. It's almost breakdown. It's really breakdown when I was not able to pay. I become a bad creditor. Less than 2 years, Adolfo bought that house next door, and we become fused. They're Mexican and Filipino, but it seems to be very close. So he used to call me like grandmother. When Adolfo find it out that this was foreclosure, he called his agent who let them buy the house. That day, we find out it was already sold. I said, huh? My house has been sold already? And then we go to Wells Fargo.
My name is Adolfo Gonzalez. I live next door for the last 4 years. I came to this new house and she introduced herself, so she says they're very welcome to me. And after that, we have good. The first time I knew about the problem with the house is when one day by coincidence I was outside. A man came to looking for Teresita and she was at home. He cannot contact her and he asked me for a favor. If I let her know, her house was on action the same day when they came to notify her. Supposed to be been notified before. I don't know which way, I don't ask. And I've been surprised myself because I never see any information or any other related information about this situation. After that, I contacted Teresita and I asked what happened. And she told me about the bank and everything. I talked to my real estate and I say, what do you think? And they say, I'm not sure, but it looks like they don't did it the right way because they sell so fast. And only one person they went to the action when it's in San Francisco. And they should be at least 20 people where really is a foreclosure.
My name is Adrian Teresita. I'm the executive director and co-founder of Open Door Legal. Ms. Pobre's case, complex matter. She bought this home in the Bayview with her late husband in the 90s. For 25 years, made payments on the home and saved up over $700,000 in equity and started falling behind in payments. And her bank foreclosed on the property without telling her, sold it for $50,000 to an investment group, sent her a check for 1 penny to represent the kind of lifetime earnings she had put into this home. And then the new investment group had moved to evict her. And that's when she came to us, facing this eviction, having lost her home. And so we were able to, pause the eviction, investigate the case. We did a lot of discovery with the bank. We discovered that they lacked the legal authority to foreclose on the home in the first place and actually knew about it, but decided to foreclose anyways.
It's her house. She lived for 20-something years. It's not fair. Where she can go, where she live, where she move.
So we just keep praying and praying with that. We're working hard. I know they're working hard.
And after several months of litigation, we're able to essentially settle and get the title back in her name, get damages, get all of her equity restored, and she was able to pay off all of her credit card debt. And then we were able to write a trust so that she could pass the home down to her kid. So she went from being almost homeless to owning almost $1 million asset.
The dream is still continue. They give my husband and my daughter. Up to this time I can believe what open door legal helped me to get back our house.
There's about 100 foreclosures a year in San Francisco. During the 2008-2009 financial crisis, that had actually gone up 500 to 600. And according to a study done by the Assessor Recorder's Office, 84% of foreclosures in San Francisco were done with a major legal violation, meaning they could have been, avoided, at least in part, if people had been able to get legal help. But it's very difficult to get legal help. There's very little funding for legal aid groups like ours to do foreclosures on behalf of low-income residents. I think that sort of narrative is that it's largely the homeowner's fault, right? And so why do people need legal help? But our experience with Ms. Pobre and the data suggests it's not homeowners' fault. We have all these kind of protections, due process protections, homeowner protections, but when people aren't able to get legal help, they can't actually enforce them, right? And so banks can sort of just use that to strip wealth out of the community and impoverish longtime residents like Ms. Pobre.
And I cannot forget the Open Door Legal, which did all their best to help me, and I am very thankful for all these things they have done to me and my daughter.
When we founded Open Door Legal, our vision was to pioneer the country's first system of universal access to legal help. And what that meant was we were going to focus on one community at first and sort of saturate demand, ensure everybody could get legal help for any kind of legal problem they faced. And so we kind of rapidly expanded into family law and consumer law and foreclosure and housing law and employment law and a whole variety of other things. And then essentially as our funding expanded, we started serving more communities. So now we actually serve 3 communities within San Francisco and are managing roughly 800 cases a year. In the next 2 to 3 years, we hope to finish scaling citywide, make San Francisco the first city in the country with universal access to legal help, and then become a model for national replication. We believe that you can't really divorce justice from poverty, right? And that actually the most cost-effective way to address poverty in our community is by ensuring everyone has access to the law. And we want to basically pioneer this in San Francisco's communities of color, show how effective it is, and then scale out. We aim for nothing less than changing how we as a society think about poverty and how we deliver justice to people who are oppressed, marginalized, and to our neighbors of color. And in this, we will not be deterred.